Hello, we're the History Hikers. I'm Dries,
And my name is Jente.
and we are in the Château de Coucy, the Castle of Coucy, which used to be very impressive. Please explain.
Yes, indeed. When it was built in the 13th century, it was bigger than the castle of the King of France, and its donjon or keep was the biggest in all of Europe.
Yeah.
But it's not because of the fog that you can't see a donjon right now. It's because in the First World War the Germans were stationed here, and when they retreated in 1917, they thought it was a great idea to blow up the donjon. Sadly.
Damn you Germans!
So yeah, that's what happened. And because it was the biggest, the lords of Coucy during the Middle Ages, they were very arrogant, and they were like, well, maybe I'm not a king, I'm not a prince, I'm not a count, I'm not a duke, but I am a lord of Coucy.
So it used to be very impressive, and the ruins will be very impressive as well. Let's go check it out.
The castle of Coucy is located in the Aisne department in northern France. It's situated on top of a bluff near the town of Coucy-le-Château-Auffrique, overlooking the valley of the river Ayette. The name Coucy derives from the Latin coriacum, meaning palisade. We start our visit in what used to be the original location of the castle town. Visible here are the remains of a Romanesque church of Saint-Rémy. The foundations were discovered in the 19th century during consolidation works. Closer to the castle we can also see the foundations of kitchens built in the 15th century. These foundations were found during recent excavations.
Here's the large pile of rubble, which used to be the donjon.
It's a monument to barbarity now.
The first fortification at this site, though probably nothing more than a wooden keep with a stone base, was built in the 10th century by Hervé, Archbishop of Reims. It served to protect his territory of Coucy against invasions. From 1079 onwards, the castle would be enlarged by the lords of Coucy. The castle entrance was protected by the donjon on the left, a moat, and the artillery tower on the right. The French king Francis I built a lavish residence on top of the vaulted entrance in the 16th century, though nothing remains of it today.
Coucy Castle itself was built between 1225 and 1245 by Enguerrand III de Coucy. Together with the castle he also fortified the town, which was separated from the castle by a large moat. Coucy Castle consisted of a large outer ward, the castle town and the main castle. Both were again separated by a wide moat. The main castle showed the pride of its lord, for it had a circular keep of more than 55 meters high, 35 meters in diameter, and a wall thickness of up to 7.5 meters. During that time it was the largest keep in existence. Even the 4 circular corner towers of the main castle were 40 meters high and 20 meters in diameter. They were as big as the contemporary keeps built by the French kings.
Enguerrand III had a bold motto: I am no king, nor prince, nor duke, nor count. I am the lord of Coucy. He was one of the most ambitious and powerful of all the French nobles of that time. He was also an illustrious warrior, having fought in several campaigns, being a notable member of the French army which invaded England to depose King John. He also joined the Albigensian Crusade, which ties in nicely with our earlier videos from southern France. Where the hell are we going?
I don't know, it's not on the map.
Oh! It's the bottom of the tower. The stairwell. The steps are clearly visible. Picture. Oh, it's very hollow here. Wow. It's absolutely massive tower. Hello. Like, comment, subscribe. Dizzy. And all the views are dizzy too. Can you imagine how massive? Well, see how massive this tower is, and imagine how massive the donjon used to be.
Well, the donjon used to be over 30 meters in diameter, with walls of 7.5 meters thick.
Yeah, it's insane.
This tower. I said in the intro that the donjon was bigger than the one from the royal castle, but even this tower was bigger than the donjon from the royal castle.
Great.
The castle's courtyard used to be surrounded by long galleries from the living quarters to the chapel and the Great Hall. All these buildings were already destroyed prior to the French Revolution.
The living quarters of the Lord, now largely in ruins, were reachable via an imposing spiral staircase. Inside you could find the monumental fireplace of Les Preuses, named after legendary strong women. We'll return to this topic in a later video.
In the second half of the 14th century, one of his descendants, Enguerrand VII, started the transformation of the old fortress of Coucy Castle into a sumptuous palace. In 1400, Coucy Castle was bought by Louis I, Duke of Orléans, who completed the work begun by Enguerrand VII. This marked the end of the period of medieval construction of the castle, as war in the 15th century made further construction impractical. During this century, the castle was besieged and taken several times. Although in 1411 it withstood attacks for 3 months when it was besieged by the Burgundians, only surrendering when provisions ran out.
In 1498, the castle of Coucy became crown property. During the 16th century, the castle was modernized to adapt it to artillery, and a new Renaissance dwelling was built by Francis I, King of France.
Above the entrance of the Great Hall used to be the castle's chapel. The ground floor was used as storage rooms or walkway, just like in the rest of the castle.
One of the most impressive parts of the castle must be the Great Hall or Salle des Preux. We are on the ground level, so the actual hall used to be above our heads. You can still see the remains of the niches that used to hold the statues of the 9 preux. These were brave and sometimes mythological and biblical men from history. They were David, Judas Maccabeus, Joshua, Caesar, Alexander the Great, Hector, Charlemagne, King Arthur, and Godfrey of Bouillon.
The stairway to the basement of the Great Hall has impressive vaulting. Inside the basement we find some of the beautiful stonework recovered from the castle ruins, as well as drawings and pictures dating from the 19th and 20th century.
During the French Revolution, the remains of the castle were transformed into a prison. Later it became a stone quarry until 1829, when it was bought for 6,000 francs by Louis Philippe, who would become King of France a year later. In 1856, the castle became government property. The famous architect Viollet-le-Duc consolidated the keep after it had been damaged by an earthquake.
Look at his face. Perfect medieval face.
From here we can also enter the basement of the postern gate tower. It used to consist of 5 floors connected via a spiral staircase. It defended the castle's western side at the postern gate, which led to the moat below. In the 17th century, during the Fronde uprising of the French nobles against the royal rule, the castle was dismantled. In 1652, Cardinal Mazarin gave the order to dismantle the fortress since it had become too much of a threat to the king's power. The gates, the big round curtain of the keep, as well as the vaults of both towers and the keep were destroyed to render the castle useless for military purposes. After this, the castle fell into neglect. During World War I, the castle was occupied by German troops. It became a military outpost and was frequented by German dignitaries, including the Kaiser himself. In March 1917, the German army, ordered by the German general Ludendorff, destroyed the keep and the 4 corner towers by dynamiting them with over 25 tons of explosives.
There seems to have been no military reason for this destruction other than to spite Prince Ruprecht of Bavaria, who had asked Ludendorff to protect the castle from war damage during the scorched earth tactics used during the German retreat. The destruction caused so much public outrage that in April 1917 the ruins were declared a memorial to barbarity. In 1923, reparations were used to clear the towers and to consolidate the walls, but the ruins of the destroyed keep were left in place.
Aha, so the prison is over there. Dun 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 bang.
We end our tour in the northwestern tower. The hole in the floor was the opening for the dungeon. Prisoners were lowered down via a rope, since the hole in the floor was the only way in or out. That was the Chateau de Coucy. Very impressive, despite it being a ruin because of the Germans.
You're so angry at the Germans.
Damn you Germans. Yeah, what did you think?
Amazing. Actually, really amazing.
The vaulted ceilings.
Yes, the vaulted ceilings.
Yeah. We'll have to... It's been a while. I think it's time for the arbitrary subjective castle score. And I'll give it an 8.5. Yeah, really impressive. If those towers were still standing, I think it would have been a 10. For you?
For me it's a 9, because as we have said before, those rooms with these vaulted ceilings, that was breathtaking. They had like flowery stonework by the columns, and I always really liked that. Yeah, it was really nice. I'm speechless, I can't get out of my words.
If you're ever in the area, be sure to visit. And now, to finish it off, thank you for watching. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And until next time.
Bye!
Bye!